Morning, it's John with Coffee Talk with just with John again. Sorry guys, we don't get to hang out with Sean today. I'm here at my home office, which is also of course taken over with grandkid toys and stuff like that. But anyway, hey, this morning I just want to come to you and bring to you a few packets of information. Attached to the stream here is some information about how to join my YouTube page and follow me on YouTube so that you can replay anything that you miss, or if you can't come on live, then of course you can replay it on there. This also is going to be downloaded and streamed on my podcast, the Turnaround Podcast. Which is another helpful tool that we have at my website. So I want to just let you know that. I want you to become aware of that. This morning, I got two things I want to talk about that's absolutely urgent, that I want you guys all to be aware of, and that is that I do have a goals webcast. It's called Goal Setting 101 webcast. It's coming up on Tuesday, next Tuesday, 1 week from today. 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. So those people that are on the East Coast, they can watch it during lunchtime, be a part of it during lunchtime. Those on the West Coast can open it up with their morning coffee. So I'm excited about that for sure. So then one other thing I want to bring to your attention that's really, really important is that we are doing not just the goals, but also I want to talk to you today about and this is something that you can get involved with as well. But today I'm talking about what causes and what are the real prices of employee turnover. And I'm sure that many of you are already aware of that, but I just want to highlight that today. And I was just really doing some research on that of late recently, and I was kind of amazed. I knew that the numbers were high, but I was kind of amazed about what the cost is of employee turnover, what the real dollar cost is of employee turnover. So there's not just the money cost, but there's also the cost to the business. There's things like cost of hire and opportunity cost, etc., that are lost when you lose employees. But did you know, and do you have any clue, or do you have any idea what the turnover cost, what it costs as far as turnover goes? The average working laborer employee, person that who is a laborer, the average cost of hire is $1,500. That's per employee. So I mean, if you're a painting company or a drywall company and you're bringing on laborers, if you're open shop and these are your own employees, to bring on laborers, just to bring on people to do the job, the average cost is about $1,500 per employee. Now that can get pretty spendy. If you're talking about 50, 100 employees, that can get pretty spendy to kind of bring on a new employee. But where it really gets blown away and where it's really, really high is, and this is what just blows me away. Now, if you're talking about a superintendent, if you're talking about a mid-level manager, like a project manager or an estimator, that is just your standard PM or your standard PM estimator. If you're looking at those type of people, it gets a little bit more expensive. The average, think about this now. The average cost to hire a new mid-level manager is anywhere from 1.5 to 2 times their salary. So this is easy to figure out. If their salary is $100,000, it costs anywhere from $150,000 to $200,000 to onboard, source, and hire a new employee. That includes of course their salary. So think about that. That's a ton of money. If you're adding on just one, you're looking at an onboarding and acquisition cost of anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000. All right. Now, if you're trying to bring on a CFO, a CEO, a president, a vice president, a C-level executive, these are 200 to 250% of salary. That's, again, that blows me away. The acquisition costs to bring on people. Now, I'm a recruiter. I'm a headhunter. Of course, I'm a headhunter. I'm an executive coach. I'm a consultant, a mindset mechanic, a potential developer, an influencer. All those things. But my primary job, where I make my primary living, is in that world of recruiting, that world of sourcing talent. Now, that cost, even though my people complain, even though they don't complain a lot because they have great employees, and these employees bring them a lot of money, save the money on the bottom line, they save the money on the top line. They don't complain a whole heck of a lot, except when it comes time to write the check. But they of course, most business owners do that anyway. They don't write a check with a smile on their face and say, hey, yeah, here you go. Unless they're kind of kidding with you. But anyway, don't get me wrong, I love my clients. I love my clients. They know that I do a good job for them. They know that I bring them good, high quality employees 98% of the time. Sometimes there's a glitch, but for the most part, I bring them great employees that last a long time, that make them a lot of money, or that save them a lot of money on the bottom line. So when I make that joke, don't get me wrong, but the recruiting cost, the sourcing, the percentage of the cost of sourcing, recruiting a candidate is only 1/3 of the real cost of losing, or of losing a good person and bringing on a new person, of bringing on, recruiting a candidate. Only 1/3 of that cost, only 1/3 of that 150 to 200% for a project manager, estimator, superintendent. Only 1/3 of the 200% or the 250% for that CEO, that C-level executive, that VP, that president. Only 1/3 of that cost is getting paid for recruiting and sourcing. 1/3, and that's 1/3 of that cost. That's it. Is in that recruiting and sourcing. 2/3 of the costs are the non quote unquote cash costs. It's not like you're writing a check for them, but these are real, and they go into what we've been talking about for so long. They go into the culture and building a high performance culture at your business. As we're trying to build this high performance culture, this turnaround culture at your business to make your business better, make it more efficient, etc. Which is what I do besides on my recruiting end. With my executive coaching, with my consulting practice, this is what I do all the time. I talk to people about culture, about the culture at their business and how important it is. So the cost of turnover goes beyond just the dollar, just the real dollars cost, just the check that you're writing to your recruiter. It goes beyond that. So number one, these costs, the biggest cost besides the cost per hire is the cost of vacancy. So let's think about this. When a high performing person on your team leaves and goes to a different company, because that company offers them better opportunity, a better culture, better work-life balance, maybe it's a hybrid opportunity, whatever that opportunity is. When they leave your company, the costs to the people in your company and to the culture are the ones that are really, really going to have more of that long-term impact, which is why you want to keep your best people, which is why you want to have a great culture. It all works within that big circle of life that we're trying to help you with in Coffee Talk and on the Turnaround podcast and in my coaching practice. So let's get to it. First and foremost, there's real human cost. This person was part of a team. Now, I don't know how big of a team you have or how small of a team you have. For the big, huge businesses, maybe this doesn't make such a big deal. But you know, when you're talking about these folks that, you know, you've got 10 people in the office, you've got 5 people in the office, you've got these middle level managers that have a huge impact on your company. When that person leaves, then they leave friendships, they leave their colleagues, their business colleagues that they've worked side by side with for so long. They leave that position, and it makes an immediate impact. And also, maybe that person hired or had influence on hiring people on their team. Those people on their team, I can't count how many times I hear it. The person that hired me left. That's the reason I'm leaving. The only reason I came to this company is because this person that hired me left, and now there's new management, and this new management is different. They're different. They're different. How? Well, they're different. They're more of a micromanager, whereas my boss was more, my person that hired me was more collaborative. I felt like we had two-way conversations. This new boss is just crazy. They're really, they look down on me. They don't give me an attaboy or compliment me on my work or whatever. Whatever the reason is, you know, there's friendships that are developed, there's colleagues that are developed, there's personal connections that are developed when a person leaves, and this maybe is going to be the catalyst for other people leaving on the team. It can really become a downward spiral if you're honest about it. Plus, it gives your company, this is the second thing, it gives your company a reputation, right? Oh my goodness, Joe left, or Jolene left, or whomever left. Boy, things must really be going bad at that company. I wonder why they left. Sometimes it causes people that might be thinking about coming to your company because you have a phenomenal reputation, or a certain person works there, you're going to lose out on that piece of capital. We're having coffee talk, so I've got to have some coffee. So let's go backward just a little bit. In addition to the fact that you lose out a good team member, I hear this all the time in the construction industry. I hear it all the time. We lost the project man. We lost this guy, and this guy was project managing this job, and we're in the middle of this job. And now we need to take over. So we need to find somebody. We need to hire somebody right away to be able to take over this job. Well, how are you doing it now? I ask. Well, everybody is picking up the slack. Translation: the smaller the company, the more slack that has to be picked up when a project is left in the middle. The people have to stretch already. They're stretched thin. I mean, we're already facing a crisis of epic proportions. The war for talent is amazing, and people are stretched thin. Again, I hear this from candidates. Joe left, or Jolene left, and my workload has increased. My salary hasn't increased. My benefits haven't increased. My bonus hasn't increased, but my workload has. My title hasn't gone up. I'm not a senior project manager, but I'm operating and running as many projects as a senior project manager is, and I'm not getting paid for it. I hear it all the time. So that's another cost. Not only you lose the human cost, you also might stretch your already stretched thin workforce thinner. And that is another shot to your culture. Where a person is probably used to in a construction industry working 50 hours a week, now that person's working 60, 70 hours a week. Not because they're less efficient, but because they got more work to do. And so that also shrinks, that also is a hardship on your people. A big hardship on your people when someone leaves. That's part of the cost. That's part of the cost. It also, another part of the cost with a person leaving is the fact that your growth plans. I mean, if you're looking to grow and you lose somebody, it's going to stall those growth. It's going to stall that growth. And then not to mention, if you're in a construction side and you have contracts that say, I will have a completion date of this. You know, I've got this many days past the time that I get to go into the building and do the framing and do the drywall and do the finish work. I got this many days, and if I finish it by this time, I get a bonus. If I go past that time, I get penalized on the contract, right? So there's another money cost right there, but it's also reality. You can't grow. Now you're going to stagnate. Now you're actually going to go backwards. You're going to drive your team forward. You're going to keep driving your team forward to reach those growth goals with less of a team. You're going to burn those guys out. And guess what happens when you burn people out? And guess what happens when they're working 70, 80 hours a week and they're not being compensated for it? Guess what happens when they're not being bonused for it? When they're not appreciated for it? When it's just a grind going forward? They call me or I call them at the right time, which is what generally happens. They don't generally call me. I generally call them. It just so happens to be the right time, and they leave your company to go find greener pastures, to go find a company that's better staffed, find a company that's got better culture, that's not going to make their spouses forget their name, that's not going to make their kids forget their name because they're never home. They're going to leave you. And this is just a reality. They're going to leave you. If that is the case, if that's what's going on. So number 3, okay, so we've got that cost. We've got the losing the person and the impact that high level person has made on the company, the stress it puts on everybody else, the reputation it gives your company. That's number 2. In other words, the name of your company. If that person leaves, I wonder why that person leaves. People in the industry start to talk. I wonder why people leave. And let me tell you something. I'm just going to be honest with you. As a recruiter, if I see a high-level person leave out of the company, I'm curious about that. I'm going to ask questions. First of all, I'm going to call that person that left, and I'm going to be curious about that. But I'm going to call other people in the industry, and I might even call the company itself. I might call people in the company. Well, what about this guy leaving? What about this person leaving? I mean, when this person leaves, what impact has that had on your job? And let me tell you something. That's it. It's a cost. It's a big, huge cost if I haven't convinced you. So those 2 things. Now, number 3, in the industry, you don't want to be known as a churn and burn. You don't want to be known in the industry when you're trying to build an attractive culture, a sticky culture. We're talking about that. Turnover hurts. That's why you want to have a sticky culture. That's why you want to have a culture that keeps people engaged. It keeps people involved. It keeps people excited. It keeps people wanting to stay there because you've created a culture that makes them excited about the type of work that they're doing. And again, if you have any questions and want to know about building a culture, man, please reach out to me. I'm bringing on a few more clients for 2022. I'm bringing on a few more clients, not only on the recruiting side, but I'm bringing in a few more clients on the coaching side. And I want to help, man, because I love doing this. I love building and developing business. That's what I love to do. But you don't want to have a reputation in the industry as being a churn and burn type of company. The person leaves. The job responsibilities expand. The people get tired. The people get burned out. They want to leave, and then it becomes kind of an effect, a spiral effect. It's like going down into depression. You're going down, and you don't know what to do to stop it. To stop it, you got to have a good culture in place, and it's never too late to start. And we can do that for you. We can help you build that. So. But you don't want to be known have a reputation of being churn and burn. People know that. People understand. They see company. By the way, I have this happen all the time. I'll say to a candidate, I'll say, well, XYZ Construction is hiring, and they've got a great position over there. Yeah, but I've heard about that company. They have massive turnover. And it may not be because you have a bad culture. It may not be because you have a bad company. It may just be because one person left, and then a bunch of other people left. And then you hired somebody, and they didn't have the right personality. So you didn't hire according to your culture or your values. You hired because you needed to stick somebody in there. And that's what happens too. Here's the thing. If you get desperate, if you don't have a values statement, if you don't have a mission statement, if you don't have an overall statement about what you want your company to look like, then all of a sudden you're just going to hire on skill set alone. You're not going to look for culture. You're not going to look for the soft skills, the emotional intelligence of the individual. You're going to just look for somebody to plug in. You know, in the earlier illustration, we're talking about project manager. You just need to find somebody that can do a $10 million project. It can be plug and play, and we can hire them right now. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how the person talks to anybody else. It doesn't matter it just matters that they have that skill set. And then you're going to pay a ton of money for that guy to come over to your company, right? And you're not going to even ask the questions. Why in the world was he only here at this last place for a year, and the place before that for a year and a half, and the place before that for 6 months, and the place before that? Well, why? Probably because he did the same thing with those companies. He or she just went to the company that the highest bidder that had the most urgent need. You don't want to be in that position. You want to be in a position of power where you're hiring to keep your culture right. If you keep your culture right, you're going to stick. You're not going to have these problems. People are still going to leave, but it's not going to be because the culture is bad. It's not going to leave a stain on your company like this does. So that's the other thing. Again, when you start losing people, you get desperate. You hire. I've been in that situation before. I hate to do it. You know, it's hard because I'm calling up people and saying, hey, XYZ Construction wants to hire. They're a fantastic company. They're a great company. I know that they've had some problems lately. Oh yeah, we can't go there. We've heard bad things about the company. You know, we've heard that they're churn and burn. We've heard that they burn their people out. We've heard that they're losing a lot of people. There's got to be a reason they're losing a lot of people. Again, it kind of keeps on going on. It keeps on going on itself unless you have that long-term vision of what hiring ought to be, what hiring ought to look like, about what team building ought to look like, about what culture ought to look like. You're going to make mistakes, and the mistakes are going to compound, and they're going to cost you more money in the long run. And eventually it might cause you to lose your company. So we don't want that to happen. We want to make you into a company that's a sticky company, that's an awesome culture company. So, but this is the cost of turnover. You lose a person. You expand other people's responsibilities without considering, you know, their life, you know, how much they're working. You don't communicate with them. Now, there's a way to do that, by the way. Hey, this is a temporary setback. As soon as we get a new project manager, we're out there. We're hunting for a new project manager. We're looking for a new project manager. We appreciate the work that you're doing. Here's a few extra $1,000 for the extra work that you're putting in. You know what? You're doing an excellent job. Here's a title change. We're going to give you a raise. Whatever you have to do to hold on to those people, because you don't want it to continue cycling down. And this is the importance of having a sticky culture. Because guess what? Those people that are in a sticky culture are not going to look at that person leaving, because the way that they leave is probably not going to be, maybe they're leaving because they're a detriment to the culture. And that happens too. That turnover is a planned turnover. And that results in the folks that are there rising up and stepping up into that position. Or that results in the outward communication from those people that are part of a good, sticky culture. The outward communication is a positive communication, and it's attractive communication, attracting good quality, high quality candidates into your company. Because the people that work there love the company, they love the culture, they love the fit. So these things can all be wrapped into positive. With very simple, very, very precise planned steps. Now, the other cost of turnover, obviously, the other big cost of turnover, besides all those, is, and we've kind of been talking around it, is an impact and a direct impact on the entire business culture, especially when it is a employee that's been there for a while, that has made a great impact on many people. And we're going to talk about that next time, because it's too much to talk about this time. But just as a word of advertisement, number one, as a headhunter, as a recruiter, sourcing great talent for great companies. The companies I love to work for, the companies that win the talent war, they do these things. Number one, they have a clear, unambiguous focus on producing an awesome culture, of having an awesome culture at their work that they can brag about, that sets them apart. What sets your company? This is one question I always ask. What sets your company apart from every other drywall company? What sets your company apart from every other painting company? What sets your company apart from every other waterproofing company? What sets your company apart from every other roofing company, every other electrical contractor? What sets your company apart? What makes you different? What makes you unique? Tell me about your culture. There's 4 different types of culture. We'll talk about that later too, but there's 4 different types of culture. And, like a GPAC, we have this culture where we're all about winning. We're all about winning. We're all about competing. We're all about, we're called GPAC because it's a pack. We're a wolf pack, and we're all about hunting. We're all about winning and finding that candidate, winning jobs for candidates, finding great candidates for companies, finding great companies for candidates, helping their lives. We're all about doing that. We're all about the hunt, and we celebrate our wins every single time. Every time a angel gets his wings, a bell rings. Well, every time a GPAC consultant gets a placement, a howl goes off. It used to go off in our building. Now it goes off on our computer, and we celebrate each other's wins, as well as we work together to hunt and to find these candidates, and we celebrate each other's wins. It's a winning culture. That's what we do. And I want to bring that kind of, I don't need to bring a winning culture, to your office. It might be a different type of culture. It's just about getting the work done, getting the job done. But there's people that fit into that culture. So I want to talk more about that culture. So if I work with companies and I discover what it is about them that sets them apart from the rest of the companies that are out there, that attract the right kind of people that are going to be the right kind of fit, not just to do the job, not just to have the skill set to do the job, but are going to have the right mentality fit, the right mindset to function well within your company culturally, because that's important. We don't want to rock the boat. That's what I love. So if you are a specialty contracting company and you want to work with me to find, number one, find great candidates, but number two, to be consulted with on culture and on other things that might be helpful to you, man, call me today. I'm more than happy to help you. 605-277-3729. Now on the candidate side, you've heard a lot today, man. And maybe you're thinking, well, shoot, I'm part of that company we lost somebody. The guy that hired me, or the gal that hired me, we lost them. And now I don't know what direction this company is going. I never hear from the management anymore. Everything I knew about the company, I heard from this direct supervisor that left. And now I have no idea what's going on. But all I do know is that I used to work 50 hours a week. Now I'm working 70 hours a week because I took over their project. It sucks. You know what? Or I'm an estimator, and I'm having to do, instead of turning in 30 bids a week, now I'm having to turn in 40 bids a week because I got to pick up the slack for this person that left. This sucks. I'm already in a position where I'm driving 2 hours one way to work, and I have to have my butt in the chair at 7:30 in the morning, and my butt doesn't leave the chair until 4:30 in the afternoon. And I drive home, and I've got another 2-hour commute. And guess what? I don't remember what my kids look like. I don't remember what my spouse looks like. I don't remember. I didn't get to go to Johnny's or Jenny's ball game. I didn't get to go to Johnny's or Jenny's dance recital or choir practice or whatever. Heck, I missed my kid's graduation because I was working overtime. If you're in that situation right now, I've got literally in any specialty trade, I have got literally hundreds of active, positive job orders with places that understand what good culture is, understand what work-life balance looks like, understand what remote hybrid positions look like. I've got literally hundreds of companies that are out there that want to talk to you today, especially if you are a drywall PM estimator, someone that's got on-screen takeoff and quick bid, somebody that has bid and managed jobs over $1 million in any metropolitan area in the United States of America. If you're that person and you are being overworked, underpaid, underappreciated, you haven't had a raise, you haven't been given the opportunity to grow, you're driving too dang far to work. If you're in any of those situations, man, give me a call today, 605 277-3729. That's true if you're a commercial painter, if you're an electrician, a project manager, electrician, a superintendent, an estimator in the electrical field, in HVAC, plumbing, sheet metal, any of those, give me a call. Any major metropolitan area, give me a call. Let me connect you confidentially so that your boss that's overworking you right now, that's not underappreciating you right now, doesn't catch on, so that you still have a job where you're looking for a job. I can keep it confidential for you. And guys, again, this is the type of work I do day in and day out. I don't have set hours. I don't work 9 to 5. One of my hiring authorities complained at me today because, and I hope and if you're watching, I apologize, but already right away at 6 o'clock in the morning, I was letting them know, hey, I found a candidate for you. And hey, wait a second, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. Well, yeah, I found a candidate for you. I wanted to let you know right away. I wanted this to be the first text that you saw in the morning, to make sure that you can get a hold of this candidate. The war for talent is real. As I close today, remember, take a look on any of my social media pages. You'll see it. Goals 101 next week, Tuesday, 11 o'clock a.m. It's a webinar. It's a free webinar. It's worth every penny. But actually, I want you to know how great an impact goals can have on your life. Huge impact on your life. So reach out, follow me there, and I've got leadership newsletters. I've got everything else, and I can consult with you. Just give me a call, John Chisholm, 605-277-3729, john.chisholm@gogpack.com. And man, have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you next time.